For us tonight,
just short and simple, we always hear about the waves of Protestants coming into the church. Just wondering, are there any tabs on how many Orthodox people are coming into the Catholic Church? Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. Well, what do you know from your experience?
There are some. In the 19th century, there's some remarkable converts. And in our own time, Helen Izvolsky, for example, was quite a well-known writer on Russian themes. Helle Georgiades in England, Count Bennigsen, Ivan Puzina, and as I mentioned before, some of the followers of Vladimir Soloviev, oftentimes called the Russian Newman, who are active in Russia and very open to unity. So there are some converts, a trickle, coming into the church, and hopefully as dialogue and genuine ecumenism increases, there's going to be a softening of attitudes on the part of those Eastern Orthodox who just don't understand the Catholic Church.
I think when I've talked to some in my work, that one of the issues that does come up is this craziness in the liturgy that they encounter. And
it's a serious problem, and I think our bishops should pay greater attention to this alienating factor which is impeding real ecumenism with the Eastern churches. The Catholics, for example, who attend Eastern Rite Catholic churches because they're offended by what's happening in their parishes, are simply part of that picture.
How about some words of encouragement to the audience, if they have Orthodox friends, how they might reach out to them and introduce the fullness of the Catholic faith into their lives?
One of the things with Catholics on the American scene is, oftentimes, before I became a Catholic, I was going off to Korea. I didn't know whether I was coming back, so I decided to make that move. But I never met a Catholic who said, hey, you're interested in the Catholic faith, why don't you become a Catholic? I never met one. And these were the good old days. But there was a lack of apostolic zeal, at least as far as my own experience went. My wife is also a convert to the church from Episcopalianism. She had a very good Catholic friend who spoke to her about the church and interested her in the church, and she became a Catholic as a result. We need to do more of that, to reach out to others, to speak openly about our faith, ask them what they think about the unity of the churches, or the union of the churches. Ask them what they think about the Holy Father. Ask them what are the differences, and get them to pray.
That's interesting. Is there a prayer that unites us? I know they don't have, for example, the Rosary as their tradition as we do, but are there prayers that would unite us with the Orthodox?
Well, the beautiful Jesus prayer, Jesus, Son of God, have mercy on me, a sinner. To offer that up for the union of the churches. That the prayer of our Lord, that all may be one, that all his professed disciples will be one in his church. There is no greater prayer that can be said in our time. Our Lady of Fatima called upon us to pray for the conversion of Russia. We need those prayers. It's interesting that the relics of Saint Therese, Doctor of the Church, and she's a saint who's particularly beloved by our Russian Orthodox brethren. They like Saint Therese of the Child Jesus, a Doctor of the Church, who died at the age of 24. There's something about her that matches the ascetic spirit of the Russian saints. They like St. Francis, they like St. Therese. And so let's talk about the saints and what we have in common, and try to get more prayers offered for the union of the churches to fulfill the will of our Lord, that all be one.
And it behooves us to make an effort to know their history too, doesn't it?
Yes,
to know their
go to their parishes, make friends. As long as Christians are isolated from one another, and we have false ideas and caricatures and stereotypes of one another, that impedes the unity of the church. So, yes, the first step, the first stage in authentic dialogue is friendship. Now, let's reach out to these wonderful people. The Greeks are wonderful people, the Serbs, the Russians, despite all what's going on in Yugoslavia. The impact of communism among the Serbs has been a disaster, as you can see by recent events. But the Serbian Orthodox people have a great heritage of sanctity. This is true in all the Orthodox churches, that living Catholic tradition of Eastern spirituality continues to live with them as in the Eastern churches in communion with Rome.
Jim, thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for sharing your journey and
Thank you, Marcus.
informing us so much about the Orthodox Church. You've given us some good challenges. You've encouraged us to offer up the Jesus prayer for the reunion of the churches and to ask for St. Teresa's intercession for that reunion. Thank you again. And thank you again for joining us. Look forward to being with you next week on The Journey Home.